And now, a story from the Appleseed.
Okay, this is a tragic story. But it happened a long time ago. You'll probably laugh. Because tragedy plus distance equals humor, right? Summer came and school was done. There was no more work, it was time for fun. The weather got hot, but I wanted to get cool, so I headed down to the swimming pool. I'm talking about the public pool, where they let everybody in, even me. I got to the pool, my friend Mike was waiting. He said, "Come on, Bill, no hesitating. We're gonna have fun just sure as we're alive. Jumping off that old high dive. The high dive reached up into the clouds. It should have been illegal and never been allowed. It was way too dangerous, way too high. 17 miles up there in the sky now in all the years that I'd been alive. You know, I never jumped off that old high dive. Oh, I watched my other friends scream and jump. They called me a chicken, they called me a chump. I didn't care, 'cause I was still alive. But it just so happened that summer season, I wanted to jump, I had a reason. Someone at the pool, I must confess that I dearly wanted to impress. It was Christy, the lifeguard. Christy, the heaven open and the angels sang. Christy, the lifeguard, she was 17. Christy, I was 9. We were the perfect match. Christy sat in her lifeguard chair, combing her long and golden hair. Her skin was tan, her eyes were green. She was the prettiest girl that I had ever seen. And I had seen a lot of girls at my elementary school. None of them looked like Christy. So I thought, you know, this just might be my chance to get that girl to give me a glance. She'd finally know that I was alive when she saw me jump off that old high dive, my body arcing out over the water, muscles rippling over my 57-pound frame. Our two hearts would beat as one. So this time, when Mike said let's, I said okay, yeah, sure, you bet. I'm ready to rock, I'm really pumped, baby. Watch me climb, watch me jump. So Mike and I headed off to climb the ladder. We got halfway there, I saw there was something the matter. A million other kids there, my oh my, wait to take their turn to jump and die. I rolled my eyes, I said, oh great, there was nothing to do but stand there and wait. Mike said, say my place, Bill, I'll be right back. He returned in a minute with the beautiful snack. I am talking about frozen Milky Way candy bar, 5-pound bag of Skittles, 256-ounce jug of grape soda pop. I drank the whole thing, 'cause I love those natural flavors. Well, it took us about 45 minutes or so just to get to the ladder. But don't you know, after all that waiting, it was easy to see. With the soda pop inside, I had to go to the bathroom, if you know what I mean. So when Mike said climb, I said a hammer. It seems I have this little dilemma. I said, I'm sorry, Mike, I gotta go. He said, Bill, can't you hold it for a minute or so? Don't get out of line now. Well, I was still about to get out of line when I happened to look over one more time. There she was, sitting in a chair, her dark brown skin, her long blonde hair. It was Christy, lifeguard twirling and untwirling the whistle on her finger. Christy, she looks so beautiful being bored. Christy, a lifeguard. Christy, Kristi with a heart over the I. So I saw the wisdom in his explanation. I decided to continue to my destination. I put my hands on the rail, said, I will not stop until I reach the very top. The only problem was there were 123 kids ahead of me on the ladder. So every step now took me higher. While my situation grew more dire, I yelled up ahead, hey, don't be slow. Jump right now, cause I gotta go. I was almost at the very top. One more time, the line just stopped. Some kid up there was afraid he'd drown, and I made the mistake of looking down. Ooh-wee. Those people look like ants down there. I looked out across the horizon. I could see the curve of the earth. Turkey buzzards circling over my head, looking for something to pick over. There I was at the final rung. What was I thinking? What had I done? Way up there, the air was thin. The diving board swaying in the wind. My stomach wheezed and moaned and churned. It was too late now, it was my turn. I walked to the edge of the diving board. I looked down and said, this is dangerous. They shouldn't let children do this. Actually, I don't think they do it anymore, but back then they just didn't care. You know, my teeth were chattering, my legs were shaking, and I was scared. There was no faking. What was worse now, don't you know? I really had to go. Suddenly I heard a piercing sound rising up in the air from down on the ground. A whistle was blowing. A voice called out, jump off right now. I heard someone shout. It was Christy calling just to me because she loved me. So I knew what I had to do. I said goodbye, sweet world, nice knowing you. I held my breath, I closed my eyes, and I jumped off into the sky. And I was flying above it all, soaring in the air like a bird, turning and wheeling like a hawk, like an eagle, like a... Whoa. Wait a minute. I was not a bird. I was not a hawk. I was not an eagle. I was a kid. And I was falling. Ah! I looked down at the swimming pool. Now it didn't seem so fresh and cool. Coming up to meet me faster. Clearly headed for disaster. My body started twisting this way and that, when suddenly I was spread out flat. Legs were kipped, arms were flapping, everybody looking up to watch what happened. I saw Christy, she was watching me too, as I fell there from out of the blue. I must confess I was a little surprised when I saw her cover up both her eyes, and I headed down from that tower at 687 miles an hour. The water brought me to a sudden stop when I did the world's biggest belly flop. The sound was deafening, eardrums were broken, buildings and bridges rumbled and shook. Hundreds of miles away, people stopped in their tracks and wondered what kind of experiment the government was conducting. Told you it was sad. And I told you you would laugh. Well, I must have passed out, 'cause things went black. The next thing I knew, I was on my back, floating in the water in the bright sunlight, and a voice called out, "Are you all right?" Ah! It was Christy calling just to me. She come to save me because she loved me. She said, stay like that, I'll give you a ride. She started to tow me over to the side. Christy, I said, your name's like a song. I relaxed in her arms. And something went wrong. I've forgotten about everything I was holding inside. We were almost to the ladder at the side when somebody yelled and somebody cried. I'd been feeling great, just fine and mellow, but it seemed behind me I was leaving a trail of yellow. Christy saw it, began to scream, that is the grossest thing that I have ever seen. The next thing I knew, when I looked around, she climbed out of the water, left me there to drown. I said, Christy, don't you love me? She said, what do you mean? You're a 9-year-old and you peed in the pool. When I climbed out of the water, now I could see everybody at the pool was just laughing at me. Everybody laughing, so it seemed, except of course for the girl of my dreams. For some reason, Christy was standing underneath the outside shower. I don't know why, she had just been in the pool. Well, that's all that happened. There's no more to say, though they had to shut the pool down there that day. I never went back there, my time was spent, but people still talk about the accident. I don't know where Christy is today. I never saw her again, but that's okay. I'm just glad to be here, breathing alive, but don't ever ask me to jump off some old high dive.
Thanks for joining us for A Story from the Appleseed.